Hi, good evening to everybody. Hello, hello. Let me see if I can see my chat. There we are. Patty, good evening. Hello, Kiri from sweltering Texas. Oh no, I have not checked temperatures nationwide for a while. So, what are you sitting at? We have a very comfortable, I believe it's around 80 degrees. Let me double check. Um, I just say it's more comfortable today. Today it's 81. Um, this morning it was very, very humid and very hazy. So our humidity is at about 37%, which is pretty decent. so, um, so yeah, 81 with 37% humidity. That's pretty comfortable for a summer day, actually. So, just did that go through? Okay, I hope it did. Sunflower Marcia, hello. Good evening to you. Connie, hello. 105. Kiri, oh my goodness. For me, anytime it's over our body temperature, it's like you just can't cool down. It's you can deal with things in the 80s and lower 90s and everything, but once it hits over 98, it's like that's just your body. There's nothing to cool it down with. I mean, even if you sweat, there's no cool air or nothing to cool your core down with. So it's like, I'm so sorry. That's, oh, I know. Sympathy for that, like you do for us when we're at 35 below in January, right? So it's a lovely 77. Okay, so it continues to go up a little bit. So, oh, yeah, the sun would be intense. I understand, Connie. I really do. I mean, right now at 81, if it were 55 or 60% humidity, that would be uncomfortable. I'd be outside and be like dripping, So, oh my goodness. Um, so anyway, how's everybody? I've just kind of woke up from a nap. Mm. So I trying to get myself all together here. It was a busy, tiring weekend. Well, actually, last 5 days or so. But this record heat wave is supposed to break after Wednesday. Okay. Oh, good. So, what is normal in July? Here, normal in July is probably 90-ish, something like that. Although we can even easily get over a few days over 100. Um, it's when it's like prolonged 95 to 105, something like that. That's gets a little unusual. So, Alicia, there you are. Hello. How are you doing? You read in the Berenstain Bears 5? Oh, cool. You're still cool and rainy. Oh my goodness. Oh, well, no, you were hot. That's right. Dave was cool and rainy. Judy, hello. Do you have allergies or cold? No, I think I was just well, I was out and about today in the very humid air, and not humid, it was smoky outside, and so I think that was bothering me today. And I was outside most of yesterday. So I think just the air quality is just not that great right now. So anyway, and the other thing is I just woke up from a nap. So it's um, I was just really tired. You know, how your time is because you don't. Oh, well, that would make a difference, Connie. Yes. Judy, how are you doing today? Patty, you're on eternal hold with USPS. It's 2.5 hours. Oh my goodness. I just had to cancel an Amazon order because I'm trying to get a new mailbox. Now, how hard is that? But I want a bigger one that our local Menards or like Home Depot thing. They don't carry it. I might have to check at Home Depot or Lowe's or something because or a Fleet Farm. Maybe Judy, maybe Fleet Farm would have one. I like a bigger one that can hold my packages and everything. But the one I have, it's been quite abused by the postal system when they in the winter when they pull up to my curb and there's snow piled in there, the cars are crooked or the pickups or whatever they have. And so they're yanking on the doors and twisting them. And I'd have to twist it to get it back so it would close again. And then after, 3, 4, 5 years of going back and forth and twisting, the bottoms have gotten all warped and rusty and they're getting ready to break actually. And anyway, it's not keeping my mail dry when it rains, which is problematic. And so I'm trying to get and I ordered it back in early May or April, something like that, to be able to install it. And the first one got damaged, I think, by UPS, and then the second one just hasn't shown up. And then they showed a picture that it got delivered to somebody else's house, and I'm just like, I don't know. It's not cheap either to get a bigger mailbox. So I'm like, oh, slight chance of rain. Well, that's good. That's good. So, um, you got a quarter inch of rain last week, but otherwise it was dead dry. Judy, how much? Yeah, I know, tired. How much rain have we gotten here? Although I think I've gotten a little more than you have, but I haven't had my rain gauge out this year, so I haven't been testing it. But it's rained. We had some good downpours when I've been gone. So anyway, oh, I'm agreed. How are you? Oh, I know. I was like, I was ready for a 2 hour nap, and I took 20 minutes, and my alarm went off, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna get myself together for you guys. But work has it's gotten a lot less crazy. I've been able to take some days here and there and getting outside. And what night was it? Friday night or Saturday night? It must have been Saturday night. I got out for about an hour and a half in the garden and weeded and mulched and different things like that. So it was good. Hey Dave, how are you? I know you've had so much rain. Um, Judy, I understand. Yes. Judy and I go to the same parish, and we've had just some challenges there. And so, anyway, the same church, and it's been hard. So that's all I'm going to say. And so, yes, we're emotionally drained. Half an inch, okay. That's possible. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if we may have been a collective close to 1 inch because we've had some really good downpours, like I said, when I've been gone. But anyway, it's after the forest fire, we had an overabundance of rain. It was wonderful. Oh, good. Finally got rain in PA. Yay! I'm so glad. You got a PO box, yeah. Problem is, my PO box is 8 miles away, and it's just like for me to even get to my channel mailbox is not convenient. And it's I need to be picking it up every day, and for me to put on 16-mile round trip just to get my mail is just not it's not feasible. But I'm just trying to find a bigger mailbox. Oh, so that's been a challenge to have it. No, not only to find it, but to have it delivered here. And I don't know why that's a problem. But well, Kiri, you don't have snowplows to run into mailboxes. Was it another delivery truck that ran that over? And have you had any luck trying to find another truck or oh, for you guys to know, to Curie has a GoFundMe, so it would be built on the Rock Homestead. She has a GoFundMe for to try to get another pickup because hers was destroyed. And um, so anyway, just wanted to let you guys know that you can go to her channel. Oh, you probably have that up on your channel, right, Curie? And because I remember seeing it up there on your video. So if you want to go over to her channel and find that, or you can post the link here too, you're welcome to. So you're raining right now, expecting showers every day for a week. Oh my goodness. Hi, Donna. Um, no one knows who hit it. Wow. Uh, thanks, Dave. Yeah, Carrie put up the link, so that'd be good. So if you guys can go in and help her out, so that would be awesome. We need to help one another out once in a while, that's for sure. Excuse me. Oh, it must be those allergies. Something going on. You got cleared up my sinuses a little bit. Thank you, Dave. Poor Dave in your garden. Oh, I know by now, the end of June, boy, your stuff would be at the very least, half full grown, if not already starting to harvest some things because just from remembering what your garden has done in the past. So, yeah, that's crazy. We have heat and drought in one area, and then like you guys have been cold and rainy, and um, yeah. So, Judy, as I was driving this last week towards going east, after about 30 miles or so, 30, 40 miles east of us, it was just the grass was just brown. I mean, it looked like at the end of a drought summer, nothing like it the third week in June. It was crazy. So, your tomatoes are still in little containers. Oh, well, June 26th, you still have time for them to grow because you don't have as early a frost as I do. So that'll be good. Last Wednesday, got to go to a Twins baseball game in Minneapolis, and so that was pretty fun. We won in extra innings, so 10th inning, and we beat the Boston Red Sox. So that was it was a pretty good game. It was a good game, and so a couple home runs and a lot of good plays and just well played. It was well played and good attendance. So it was pretty neat. Yeah, beat the Sox. I know it's your home team. But I mean, we are first in our division, and the Sox are last in their division. But I haven't been able to figure out if it's just that all of your teams are pretty equally they're equally talented or whatever, that they're more equal teams, because in a lot of the divisions you'll have one or two teams that just stretch out ahead of everybody else. Like our division, it's us and Cleveland. We're in first place, Cleveland's in second, but we're only ahead by like one or two games. And so it can switch back and forth pretty quickly. And so I was just wondering if we end up having more challenging teams, that we don't have as many wins, or if you guys end up having less challenging teams and so I don't know, you just have a lot of wins, or if you guys are just good. You might just have a division that's just good. I mean, the Yankees are like in fourth place or something. It's crazy. So thank you, Carrie. There's her GoFundMe link. So that'd be great. Yes, she put a video on there for that too. So I saw that. Hey, Joy. Um, Thank you for being here. Same, Patty. It was until we go. So, all right, Patty. Thanks, Joy. I appreciate that. So anyway, we had a good time. It was my sister's birthday, so we went out for that and just enjoyed it. Had loaded nachos in a helmet, a, a plastic helmet, and then we get to keep the helmet. So anyway, I gave it to my sister. So, but anyway, yeah, it's been really a different week. So anyway, you guys, we're going to talk about mulch this week. Oh, okay. First, I got to show you something. Um, Sorry. Let me pull this up. I came across this on Instagram. It is pretty hilarious. It's a garage sale. I don't know. Can you see it here? Let me see. Is this better? Oh, yeah. For sale, fishing chairs, built-in minnow buckets. Anybody knows what those are? You know how funny that is. A built-in minnow bucket. Yep, it's all in the marketing. I sent it to my siblings because it was like, it's hard to get rid of those. In a garage sale. We had quite a few that we had to get rid of last year. So, oh, hey, Howie, good evening to you. Um, I I was taking a nap. It's air conditioning right now, so I got a little chilled. That's all. So it's sent a. Oh, Dave, thank you so much. I know it's, and if nobody really knows what those are, those those fishing chairs, those are porta potties. So, do you need to see it again? So, oops, sorry, I must have hit something. Okay. And they're selling them as fishing chairs for sale. Fishing chairs with a built-in minnow bucket. I just like it's so great. Come on, yes. So anyway, yes. So you have especially elderly people in the household and stuff. No kidding, right? Right. So fishing chair. I mean, you can hang stuff from the arms and everything, and you have all your tackle right there. It'd be so great. I mean, you could really market those. Go around to garage sales and buy them up for $15 and turn around and upcycle them. There you go. You brought a lawn chair anyway. Yep, Donna, they are. They are. Might as well have a bucket. Exactly. It's got a cover and everything. Um, oh goodness, how are you doing tonight, Donna? You enjoying the sunshine? And did you get some rain? I hope you did. All right. So, I think I told you last week my garden was all planted. I showed you my plan. There's one thing that I forgot to show you. I think. Anyway, I didn't remember telling you. So I was showing you like all of my other beds and everything, but I forgot to tell you what I put in here because I have 1x8 beds along the north side of my fence, and they're all beans. I have some mixed beans, so they're purple, green, and yellow in here. and then some mixed, and then some dragon tongue, like from here to here, and then some yellow beans. And it's interesting how they're coming up. So you know, we'll see how they grow. So I've got quite a few beans. Everything's popping up really well, and I tried something new this year. Tried started in two beds, three. I am mulching with some black shredded cedar mulch. So just trying it out. The cedar has done well in other with other things, but I'm just not sure about this. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I know there's some reports that it can leach the nitrogen out of the soil. Um, the shredded paper that I use also did that. So I do know that I probably have to feed it more, um, to get everything. So I know that, but I really, really, really like mulching my beans with whatever, just because the rains we get here are so hard and everything, and it when the plants are growing big and the beans are developing out, and that rain comes, it splashes all kinds of dirt and stuff up on the beans. I don't know. It keeps the plants cleaner, keeps them everything else. But the one of the things with the cedar is that it will keep away the pests. And the one thing that has been bugging them over the last few years, no pun intended, is the cabbage moth that keeps flying around. Because years ago, like 5, 6 years ago, I planted kale, and that was the first time I ever had cabbage moths and cabbage worms and everything, and got a bit of an infestation with that. I pulled the kale right away when it started happening, but ever since then, there's at least a couple that just hang around. I think they have a nest somewhere in one of my shrubs or something. So anyway, they've just been a pest, and just annoying. And so I'm trying to figure out ways. So maybe they can stay away from there and not eat my beans, which would be great. So, oh, there you go again, Kiri, struggling with the plants there. Oh my goodness, yeah. Oh, good, Donna. Yay. Hi, Eli. How are you? Your aim when watering the hose using your left hand is not great. Oh, good, good. I hope you're healing well too, Kiri. Yes, they love the broccoli. In any brassica family things, they love those. And so if you do something to help keep them away, um, that really helps. You cover or use BT. Okay. With wood mulch on top in the tiny veg garden. Okay. Game pouring rain and thunder. Oh, nice. Fleece. Fleece works on that? So what would the fleece? I mean, are you like literal here, Eli? Like you'd use sheep fleece in there, or dog hair or something like that? Pulling weeds not happening. I hear you, Carrie. Um, but I've got it in the bed where I've got my zucchini, and those are growing really well. Um, it hasn't bothered thistles at all or anything. They continue to grow through. The same the same with all of my elm tree seedlings. Those are growing right up through it. Um, yeah, it's definitely not harming certain plants. So, uh, around the building or behind our house. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Alicia. Um, so, are you talking about like mulch around your house or something? Um, so anyway, yeah. So and then I've got around my peppers. It liked having shredded bark around my peppers last year. The plants did the best that they've done ever. for me. And so I was like, okay, we'll do it again. Um, isn't mulch a fire hazard? Oh, okay. Well, it can be. Um, it's wood. It's going to burn, but it all depends on how you use it, where you put it. If you're putting it around flowers or trees or in your vegetable garden or whatever. But the thing is that any um, any soil that's bare really, really should have some mulch, because otherwise, it it by its very nature, it doesn't like to stay bare. It's going to grow up weeds. It's going to grow up all other things. The other thing that happens is that when it is left just as soil and and just dirt there, it begins to kind of degrade right away, and it can lose um, a lot of its nutrients because it dries up, and it does all this kind of stuff the top few inches of your soil if it's left bare. And it just can start to powder and different things, and so you're losing a lot of the things that you've actually put into it. Different things like that we call bug fabric cover. Oh, okay, okay, that makes sense. Thanks, Eli, for clarifying. Appreciate that. um, Yeah, exactly, Dave. Something will grow if there's nothing there. Absolutely. Hi, Debbie. You planted your cabbage and kale next to your potatoes this year, and I have not had a problem with. Oh, interesting. Do you get potato bugs? That sounds like if you have potato bugs, maybe they're eating the cabbage worms or something. That would be kind of interesting. Um, that is great. That's awesome. Also, when you till or dig up the land, the soil and everything, this was really interesting, and I think it's kind of a major thing behind the no-till um, philosophy of doing things. But when you dig it up or till the soil, it loses 10% of its carbon in 24 hours. In one day, 10% of its carbon. And if it doesn't have that, that would be so. Um, to have some real fertile soil, you need to cover it and everything else. If you have raised beds, you should be able to just, I mean, like for me, because I get so much snow, you get 3 feet of snow packed on top of a bed. And believe me, that's heavy. That is heavy, and it will compact the soil. I'm hoping that it'll be different this year, because I'm one of the reasons I'm growing short-term crops this year is so that I can put um, a cover crop in all of my beds except for the strawberries, of course. They and but put a cover crop in all my bare beds once everything is done, and then whatever snow piles on that, and it's going to be the seed I have is annual rye. I know, Dave, you use like pea and oat, you said, or something like that. Um, Round leaves are best. Okay, round leaf leaves. I know, isn't that's crazy joy, isn't it? Um, Yeah, well, thank you, Patty. That's about what we get. And so it's not like all just nice fluffy type of thing. It's heavy snow. It can be very compacted. And so it compacts the soil so much. And that's why I need to at the very least, fork it to loosen everything up in the spring. But if I have a cover crop growing in there, I'm hoping that it's going to keep the soil looser. Um, and another reason I'm using shredded wood mulch this year is to try to then incorporate that into like the top 6 inches of soil or something like that too, to help add to it, to add food to help break it down and different things. So pea and oat, if you sow in the fall, they die over the winter if you freeze a lot. Yep. So I'm still amazed that the onions I left in the garden last year made it through the winter and grew up. And I have, like you said, I have 2 or 3 that are flowering now. So those blossoms are coming out. So I'll be able to get. Uh, I'm trying to refrain from calling you something, Eli. So there you go. You can plant the cover crop under my tomatoes and peppers, etc., in late September. Oh, there you go. That is a great idea. So where you would normally have mulch, just at the end of the season or right before you harvest, start planting the cover crop. That's a great idea. That's very good. So so yeah, and where all the beans are. On top of that, so I'm just going to cut the bean plants and leave the roots in this year. Going to, so the onions will come up. Um, Zucchini plants, I might do the same. Um, so yeah, anyway, that's at 3 millimeters. Oh my goodness. So, oh, oh, it'll come, Eli. You were saying, Eli, it'll come, Patty. Your garden will come together. So, it'll be there. So anyway, um, yeah, the mulch, it makes a real difference. So, um, before I start getting into the mulch and the gardening thing, I just wanted to go through my garden tip, which is um, add nutrients to your soil, protect your plants, and reduce weeds and retain moisture by mulching. So I gave kind of the subject at the end, but by mulching, you add nutrients to your soil, you protect your plants, because we kind of talked about this last week or the week before, but the mulch will actually keep the soil cooler, so your roots aren't cooking away, your poor plants aren't dying from heat. It'll reduce the weeds and it'll retain moisture. So, especially for those of you who have low moisture places, that'll help. It also, if you get real heavy pounding rain, it will keep, when it hits that mulch, it kind of, in a way, diffuses the impact of the rain, and so it's not going to pack your dirt and your soil really hard when it rains. So it'll keep it looser and everything underneath it. So I have found that out too. Um, did crimson clover on your Portland garden beds and you tilled it nicely. Okay, very nice. Yeah, and so I mean, because certainly, um, you know, you could have a whole mix of different cover crop things. That it didn't have to be just one thing. So I'm trying to think. I think clover adds more nitrogen into the soil, right? If I'm not mistaken, you guys have to help me out with that one. But yeah, if you know you're depleted in one area, pick a cover crop that would actually add that particular nutrient back into the soil and everything. So, oh, an industrial wood chipper. Wow, nice. Oh, there you go. Dave, and I can't remember what it is. I don't think it's sorghum. It's something on that line of crop and everything. But there are some farmers that will plant, several rows of this grain around the fields of their corn or their oats or whatever that is appealing to to deer and everything. And this particular crop actually repels the deer, and so it protects the I don't know if it's the smell. It must be the smell or something, because they just don't go beyond that. It's like a barrier around that. So I was just thinking about um, helps with your potassium overload balance. Oh, okay, great. Um, yeah, yeah. And like I said, I came across it years ago, and that information, and it was something that I wasn't familiar with, and so I'd heard of sorghum and all these other things. So, but it was kind of on that that side of things. A different name, I should say, rather than corn, peas, wheat, oats, different things like that. So it was something a little bit different, but so true. So true, Eli. Clover, especially four leaf, adds like, oh, there you go, Gary. Would love to fence your whole orchard, but the bedrock is only oh. So putting in some kind of barrier crop around there might end up working for you. Yeah, it has to be something. And I'll try to dig around too and see what I can find. But do your research too. And I don't know. It's nothing I've heard of a lot, and I don't. I've seen a couple fields with that, but anyway, it's just really interesting to be able to do that. So, okay, I've got a lot of pages of mulch here to talk about. I better get going. So, there are, different groups of mulch. You have short-term mulch, which is like straw and grass clippings and different things like that, things that decompose quickly. So there's short term. And then you have long-term mulch. Short term also doesn't mean just decomposing quickly, but it's for a short-term purpose. Like I just need to mulch my carrots for 2.5 months before they're growing, and then I can pull them up. Long term would be like around your perennial flowers, or even the like rhubarb and different things like that you would want to put wood bark around that would last a lot longer. It would take years for it to decompose. So that's with the short term and long term. Then you have fabric mulch, which you've seen a lot of, the landscape fabric, the weed barriers and stuff like that. And then there's non-organic or synthetic mulch, which is like plastic sheets. You wouldn't want to necessarily use that in your garden because I think those get hot. Plus, you've got the chemicals coming off the plastic, and you just rather not go that direction, I think. So the key to choosing one for whether it's your flower beds, your garden, your shrubs or trees or whatever, depends on exactly what you're mulching and where it will be going. So use wood chips for mulch. Okay, those are great. Need a Sherpa. You empty your pathway soil bank compost onto the forest floors. What you do is so great. Wood ash and biochar are your best friends. Okay. So Howie, do you put the biochar just layer it on top of the soil, or do you work it in at all, or do you mix it with other organic mulch and do that, or do you just make a layer of it on top? That I'd like to know. Yeah, Dave, you've got a great source out there. That's awesome. Okay, so um, anyway, so mulching is really really tied very much to the organic gardening, and it's kind of the basis of permaculture, different things like that. So, which is becoming really big, and I don't think it's just a fad. I think it's just become a really smart way to garden, especially when we have such diverse weather and climates and different things that we deal with. So mix if you can, and just putting it there with shallow till. Okay. Thank you. Nice. Hi, Kathy. How are you? How long does wood chips need to age before using? They said at least a year, two preferably, especially if you had new ones. So, good question, Kathy. Very good question. So, again, mulching, some of the reasons that it's so good is that protects the soil. Um, it If left uncovered, the weather deprives it of moisture and nutrients. Like I was saying before, the microorganisms that help plants grow die off. Basically, as soon as you uncover the soil, desertification starts. Now, I came across that word and I didn't get a chance to look it up, so I'm not sure exactly what that means. But anyway, it's I assume it means like uh, everything starts to break down, and it's not and it's DESERT, like desert. So like desertification. So I bet it's just like becomes just parched dry soil with nothing to it. Um, so the very top layer of soil where the microorganisms decompose organic matter, it needs excuse me, it needs protection from wind and dry weather and direct sunlight. Wind, dry weather, and direct sunlight. So it needs that protection. Mulch keeps the soil temperature steady. As it forms a barrier between the earth and the air, it keeps the soil's temperature um, regular. In the soil, there are microorganisms that work all the time and they produce heat. So as it gets cooler, it keeps the soil warmer, but and then um, in the hot weather, it keeps it cooler, which is pretty cool. So mulch can also act as a pest control method. Like it says, cedar can actually be a pest deterrent. There, yep, there you go, Patty. Desertification. A dead round leaf tree wood chip may be used right away. Oh, okay. Soak your wood chips so they don't catch fire. One layer for needle trees. Thank you. So dead round leaf tree wood chips. So if it's a fresh tree, you obviously can't use that right away. But if it was a dead tree, um, round leaf, are you talking like birch and ash and poplar, different things like that? It wouldn't be the pointy leaves like maple or oak or anything like that. Making it like a desert, basically. Okay, so I figured it out. Thanks, Patty. Um, they just spring right out of the ground. That's funny. Oh, you guys are great. Okay, the mulch prevents weeds. I also has a decorative value to it, especially like around perennials and your flowers and stuff. Um, keeps moisture in the soil and saves water. It feeds the soil. So as it deteriorates, whether it's slow or fast, it becomes compost for your garden. So it is a form of long-term fertilization. So, okay, so there's um, I don't know if I want to get into that one. Sorry. I've got 26 pages and I'm on page 3. So there are pros and cons of cedar mulch. They use a lot of filbert hulls here. Oh, cool. Yeah, there's so many different things. I mean, they even use rocks as mulch. Go figure, like rocks. So, Kiri, there you go. You got rocks. Not the big ones, but lots of little pebbles and stuff. But anyway, they can use rocks as mulch. It just, you have to be careful of, not putting them like really right up to the stems of your plants and everything. But they will help to retain moisture in your soil. The it's going to be harder for animals to go and dig it up and everything. Of course, they can always eat the plant and everything. It's just the one thing it is it's harder for you to replant, especially if you're going to do something different in that area. You have to like move all the rock and then deal with your soil and then move it all back. So anyway, so yes. So some advantages of cedar mulch: it lasts a long time compared to other mulches. So if you're doing around trees or perennials or something, that'll last a whole lot longer. It is an insect repellent. It offers a good ground cover, and it's got a nice natural color and smell too. Some of the disadvantages is that it can repel pollinators and beneficial insects. So if you wouldn't want it around your borage or something like that, something that's bringing in all the bees and stuff. So you'd want to, make sure you don't do that, especially if you want your plants to fruit or produce seeds. So that's not a good choice. It usually costs more than the average mulch, especially if you have a big area. You wouldn't want to do that. It can release acetic acid, which can hurt your plants. So, um, but that only occurs if the mulch has not received enough oxygen when it is stored after production. So if it's still wet and different things, and they just, you know, um, bag it right away, then, put in a plastic bag, it's not there. So what you can do is, you know, empty a bag in your wheelbarrow for, a day or something like that, and then get it out. Um, Oyster shells. Oh, that is so great too. When I lived in Louisiana, we used oyster shells and it was the smaller ones. It wasn't like, the big honking oyster shells or something, but it was the little smaller white ones. And we used those like for like gravel on driveways and different things, and they were so great. It packed in there so nicely, and it looked so nice. It was nice white, um, road and different things. But I never thought about putting them in your garden. I thought that would be awesome. Soil is made 1 inch every 10 years in the nature in layers. That's so great. You can make it in layers of green brown. Yep. Yep. Add your biochar and wood ash. When you have all of those things and you get into the practice of it, it's not hard to do. So anyway, I'm going to get past this cedar mulch thing because I have a lot of it. Okay, so straw is actually possibly the most common type of organic mulch used in vegetable gardening. It is cheap, it's light, it insulates perfectly, and it protects the soil extremely well. What is more, thanks to its light reflecting surface, it makes ripening faster. Interesting. I did not know that. Your tomatoes, eggplant, peppers, etc., will receive sunlight from the sky, but also an extra dose of reflected sunlight from below, from the very mulch you use. Strawberries are called so because they are traditionally grown in straw mulching in the UK. Straw has, um, sorry, just like oyster shells reflect sunlight. Oh, cool. That's great, Patty. Okay. Well, that's neat. Okay, Dave, you get the shells too. Good straw. Yeah, that is the one thing too. Make sure it's organic oat straw is the best thing. Yes, and you're taking a chance with a lot of seed in there. So as you're getting it, and if you're pulling the bale apart, if you're able to, if there's seed heads and things, you can separate those and different things like that. So that you can kind of take care of and help you out anyway. Otherwise, they pull up really easily. If the oat seeds start to sprout and you've got an oat stock starting, they do pull up really easily. Otherwise, you could just let them um, fully grow out and ripen, and then harvest them. You've got oats. You've got organic oats there that you can either use for oatmeal or plant your own oat field. um, but if you could find a farmer who does organic farming and uses oats, I do have somebody that I know that does that, and um, I haven't had to get any for a couple years, but Anyway, it works really, really good. In your city, straw is so expensive you didn't even price. Oh, yeah, I was able to get a bale for an organic bale of straw for $5. I mean, and that's a full bale too. That's not one of the little itty bitty decorative bells that you find in the store. So hay can be good too, as long as cut before really seedy. Oh, okay. Um, Wheat straw is dirt cheap here, sometimes free at the end of the season. Oh, okay. Very cool. So yeah, so straw does some great things, and I've tried different things in my strawberry bed as mulch, and I've tried leaves, I've tried other things, and leaves get so compacted, stay really wet and everything, and then invite the um, slugs in and stuff like that. So I always go back to straw for that. So it does $10. Okay. So anyway, I have found that straw is the best for strawberries and it just does work really well. Um, Straw also has excellent qualities when it comes to water. It slides off the surface very easily as it is smooth and it remains waterproof for some time. And then it starts to break down after a while, usually about 6 to 10 weeks, depending on your climate, which is usually enough time for your crop to grow, right? Using straw as mulch is ideal for vegetable gardens, not for decorative ones. You can use it to cover the soil while it is not in use. So if you don't want to be planting a cover crop, it needs to still cover it and add some nutrients to it, you could still just throw straw out and cover that and everything. So that would be great. Um, you can use it, especially over the cold months. It's very cheap, light. You can turn it into the soil when you need to plant if it has started decomposing. It is ideal for dry gardens because in wet gardens it may decompose fast and it may even help spread fungi over the mulching layer too. So if you're doing a really wet climate. So Curie, that would probably work for you too. Um, yeah, you're too dry to have slugs, I think, Curie. You like to get your old hay bales when the local guys get first cut of fresh hay in the spring. They want to unload fast. Oh, very smart. Very smart using your money well. Um, so okay, then you leaf mulch. We've talked about leaves a number of times. So um, that's producing your own, doing all kinds of things with it. They're very regenerative. Just put them in around everything. So grass cuttings is another thing that you can use. Make sure that the grass is either low on weeds or weed free because you don't want all that stuff coming up in your garden. Also, that it hasn't been sprayed at all. I was just talking to a friend this morning about using grass clippings and stuff, and he was like, he doesn't spray his lawn, but his neighbor does, and he's like, I'm not so naive to think that the spray probably wouldn't come over onto my lawn. So he's like, I wish I could use it, but he just doesn't want to take that chance. Oh, Dave, with all that rain this year, oh, I bet they're having a time with that. Um, do not use, okay, yeah. So if the grass has seeded at all, so you don't want to let it get so long that it goes to seed because then you do it. Talk to Matt from Matt and Sarah about that. 1 year, he had always been doing wood chips and doing everything for mulching. 1 year, he decided I'm going to try just the grass clippings. He put it in there, and this has been like 3 or 4 years at least, and he's still having weeds coming up. It's just crazy. So okay. Um, Newspaper is another good mulch. You can put it around. It's actually called sheet mulching in permaculture. It was just opening up the sheets of newspaper and laying them out. You want to put, like several layers of it because it's so thin and everything. But so if you had like 6 or 8 layers, if you have one nice section of newspaper, you just open the whole thing up and then lay it down. Um, yes, it will look a little funny if you got if you want your garden to be pretty, everything, probably don't want it having all this newspaper out. But you know, it works. Um, for a shorter term, you can also use shredded paper, which I have done, and that decomposes into the ground and becomes food for your plants. But like I said, using the regular shredding, like regular paper like this, it will leach some of the nitrogen out of the soil. So I have to make sure I put more stuff in for that. Cardboard is another good one. Um, I'm just going to go through this quickly because I'm running out of time. Compost is a great mulch. So it not only provides the nutrients, and you might think that you need to put a layer of compost down and then cover that, but you really don't want to because you want the compost itself to be able to do its work. And if you're covering it up again, you're going to lose everything in there. So there hardly is. That is true. That's true, Patty. So um, you have to actually subscribe to something, I think, and get it delivered. Pine and conifer needles can be used as mulch. Again, let me see. They're decorative. They will decompose pretty slowly and they become a constant source of food for your plants. And what is more, they will stop any weed from taking hold. If you ever look in the woods where there's a lot of needle fall from pine trees and stuff like that, you'll notice there's not a lot of brush underneath, not a lot of weeds and grass and stuff growing up. That's because they have their nature is to do that. You tried the newspaper thing once, spent several days spreading. Oh no. Oh, Kathy, how discouraging. You have a new fun mulch. Heaps of sod. Yes, there you go, Dave. There you go. That's a great one. You see, and you can go to sawmills or whatever, or lumber yards, different things like that. Ask me if they have sawdust that you can get. The one thing you have to be so careful of is that they don't have any treated lumber sawdust. It would have to come from pure pine or oak or something, just the regular wood, not treated lumber. So if you try to go and get some commercially at all, yeah. So pine needles are good for camellias and other acidophiles, different things. So, but don't use it in your vegetable garden. Okay. So wood chips, as you guys are talking about, they're great. Wood bark. I know I'm running out of time here. Gravel, like I was talking about, that can be good in there, but it doesn't feed your soil and it doesn't insulate it from the cold or the heat as much as organic matter does, because the rocks will get, the gravel gets cold or it gets hot, it heats up more, everything. And so, whereas organic matter kind of, reflects all of it. So, yeah, stay. Oh, do you want me? Are you saying you want me to stay on here, Eli, and finish this up rather than going? Okay, expanded clay. You ran hose on them for hours. You live wide open. Oh, Kathy, that's so discouraging. I'm so sorry. So expanded clay. Okay, if you guys stay on here, I will stay a few more minutes. So, expanded clay. And so it's clay that is cooked at such high temperatures that it blows up, forming beautiful pebbles. Who'd have known? I didn't even know about this, but I know. Um, Forming beautiful pebbles that are reddish on the outside and porous inside. And so they said it's a common building material, but it requires a lot of energy to create those. But it is light, decorative, and it can be a fairly good form of mulch. What it does is it retains moisture. So I think of like clay pots, like your terracotta pots and everything. When you water them, they get really wet and they retain that moisture until the soil starts drying out. The pot will dry out and the soil starts to dry out, but you could see where it gets wet. So this is kind of that same probably then, Patty. So it retains the moisture and then it can release it slowly to your plants. So it can also absorb nutrients and then release them. Isn't that cool? It can absorb the nutrients. So if you need to like feed your garden with something, if you're giving them a comfrey tea or something like that, it can absorb those nutrients and then release them into the garden. So Kiri, you've got all those rocks. If you have anything that is um, expanded clay, use it in your garden. It's also lower maintenance and it's good for gardens in dry regions or where rainfall is irregular. Um, so that's something to think about if you guys are, into that. You're trying weed barrier this year, you don't know what term is. Oh, I know. Truckload of paving stones trying to. Wow. Kathy, you have just had a time of it. Oh my goodness. So, using the expanded clay is actually far more common for containers and pots rather than in your main garden beds and stuff like that, which kind of makes sense. You don't want all of the rock. I mean, because then it gets worked into your soil, and then you've got to get more in there. So, if you have containers and pots and stuff to put that in there, and then that helps to keep them more moist. It keeps again the nutrients and different things. So it's really kind of a cool thing. In terms of weeding, it only has a partial effect, much like gravel would, so it doesn't really keep the weeds down. Every garden shop in your area gives you broken clay pots for free every season. Nice. Very nice. You could probably, um, you know, smash them up into bits and pieces, and it could give the same effect as the expanded clay. I wonder, might. And pumice rock is really good. It's very porous. It's really floating volcanic rock, uh, which can be of many, even very lively colors and everything if you want colorful things. So it is very light and full of air bubbles. It helps to retain moisture and nutrients again. It has all the qualities of expanded clay, but it can be more attractive just because of the more colors. And it is fully natural, fully eco-friendly, everything, but a lot more costly. Um, so again, for small flower beds or pots or something like that. Then fabric mulches, we've talked about that. Um, but there's something, other than like the weed barriers and different things. Um, okay, thanks, Patty. Appreciate it. So, how many people do we have here? 10. Do you guys want me to keep going? I don't have a whole lot left. I need some thumbs up if you want me to do. So, fabric mulch. Think about an old carpet, rugs, different things like that. Okay, thanks, guys. So those can be laid out. I mean, again, it's not going to be pretty and everything, but I tell you what, you put a rug or a piece of carpet or something out over your soil. Nothing's going to get through it. That's for sure. What I would suggest, though, nutrient wise, that you would put stuff down underneath it, whether it's, you know, just put like, all I can think of is Am I Gardener's trifecta or something, or put your soil amendments into the soil first and then put the carpet down. And so you can do that. If it's an area that you need to, um, to regenerate or something like that. You could also have strips of carpet, like carpet runners or something in between your rows if you don't want weeds growing up and stuff like that. You could certainly, hey, Ivanson, you're trying cardboard boxes. Awesome. Okay, you guys, thank you so much. Um, so yeah, if you have an old rug, get something out of it as mulch. So sometimes the results could be excellent to weed out flower beds before planting. If you have, you could even do that on a grassy area that you wanted to start a new garden area on or something, and just put out an 8 by 10 rug that if you can pick up something at a garage sale, for $5 or something, then you cover it in there. I would even put plastic down underneath it or on top of it or something to just really keep everything in. But that can get things going on there. So, yes, yes, he is definitely. Um, so, um, again, it could get moldy, it could get, really musty smelling. It could, there's a lot of downsides on that too. But if you want something short term that's going to work really well for you, that's always an option. Just think outside the box for the things that you would need to use, whether you want it to be, like I said, long term or short term, decorative, nutrient wise, or just out there preparing the soil for digging up or something. That's totally, totally something you could do. Um, Also, the same things with blankets. If you have old blankets or anything, so they're not ideal for flower beds, but um, it says if you have a banana tree or a palm tree in the back of the garden and winter is approaching, do you need to give it some extra warmth? You can wrap it up in that blanket and keep it warm. That's what the article said. I don't have a banana tree. I don't have exotic plants here. I'm in the north. So it's like I don't wrap my plants in blankets and baby them that way. I'm sorry. I don't. Some of you guys might be able to. And then landscape fabric, we've talked about that. Um, and dark plastic. If you are going plastic to cover an area to prepare it um, for starting a new garden area, different things like that, then, or if you wanted to cover a bed for a season instead of using like organic cover crop or something. It's like, okay, these are done. I just want to, or I'm not going to grow this area for a while. And you've seen other people do like huge tarps and put them over that, or like billboard plastic, things like that. That will keep the weeds down. It'll keep the soil moist. Things will start to grow under there in the way of like microorganisms and worms and different things like that. It'll keep it all in there. You want to make sure it's blocking the sun. You don't want clear plastic because that will be like a little greenhouse for all the things underneath, and you will be growing all kinds of weeds and grass and everything else under there. So you would, if you are going to go that way, make sure it's sun blocking, either black or a very thick, if it's white, it's just got to be thick plastic, but not clear. Got to make sure you do that. Then there's rubber mulch. And that can come in different forms, like shreds, pebbles, pellets. It's made from recycled car tires. They will last for many, many, many years. It's In a way, it's a clean type of mulch because these pellets or whatever, they don't get dirty, they don't deteriorate. When it rains, it washes them and they look even more beautiful. But even though they have a good effect from a distance away, from close up, they appear rubbery and plasticky and artificial, like they are. So, not sure that would be the impression you'd want in a garden. Also, I wouldn't want them around my vegetables. So, because of the leaching of the chemicals and stuff from there. So, the other problem, the toxicity that's there. The other problem is that there's a risk that they could catch fire, maybe even more so than your wood mulch because they are a petroleum product. So, anyway, on the whole, that's probably the worst type of mulch that you could choose, but it's out there. So, um, all of this information I put in links below in the show notes. And so, if you guys need to go back and look at it and to see, I think I lost Alicia here somewhere. Um, but anyway, that's all there. You guys have been fantastic. Thank you so much for sticking with me. Um, my prep tip for tonight is check your preserving supplies, um, because harvest is going to be starting for a number of you. I mean, even though I've just started, my plants are up this far. I'm a ways away from harvesting, but a lot of you are already harvesting. But check your supplies to make sure you have everything because it can take a little while for you to get things. If they're not in the store, you have to order them, whether it's canning lids or jars or whatever, or a canner or whatever it is that you need, whatever preserving supplies you need. Um, it might take longer than you think, and then you won't have them when you need them because the vegetables won't wait. They will, you need to pick them when they're ready, and they will not last very long. You can't say, oh, little beans, you have to wait for the Amazon guy to deliver this, and it might be another week. So that's just not going to work. So, anyway, you guys, oh, that's so true. That's so true. Yeah. So, and paper feed stacks, good idea. Kiri, that's wonderful. You guys are just so great. And thanks to my moderators for being here, helping out. I appreciate it. And I am going to go get some dinner. So, you guys just take care. God bless. Always have hope and have a great week. And happy planting, happy growing and harvesting everything that you're doing. So, oh, thank you. Love you too, Eli. So, you guys are just all great. Thanks, Kathy. But can't open cans right now. Uh, Kiri, you just have one challenge after the other. God bless. All right, you guys, take care. Good night.